So today we are going to be continuing with writing equations of lines. Right, I told you it was the exact same topics every single day. This is the only thing we are doing. We said that we could write the equation of the line if we were given or we could find a slope and a y-intercept. That was option 1 on Friday. So if we were given a slope and a y-intercept, what form did we use to write the equation of the line? Slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Okay, we said we could write the equation of the line if we were given undefined slope. If we were given undefined slope, what format did we say we would use? X equals. Okay, option 3 said that we could write the equation of the line if we were given a point and a slope. Okay, and if we were given a point and a slope, what form did we use? Point slope form. Right? Everything had to fit inside those 3 options. Okay? Everything still has to fit within those 3 options. It's just that the information we are given today, we're going to have to do a little bit more diving into to figure out which option it fits into. Okay? So, for example, let's say we want to write the equation of a line that passes through the point 4, 8 and 6, 14. Okay, so I know 2 points, and that's all I know. So we have to decide if this is a situation where we can use slope-intercept form, if this is a situation where we have undefined slope and we can use x equals, or if this is a situation where we want to use point-slope form. Okay, can we agree that right now we do not have M and B? Agreed? No M and B. Can we also agree that we do not have undefined slope right now? Do we agree with that? Can we also agree that we do not have a point and a slope?
Yes.
So this doesn't fit any of our 3 formats right now.
So we're going to add a 4th one.
Nope. We have to make this fit one of our 3 options. Those are the only 3 options that we have. Any thoughts about if we have this information, what could we maybe do? Sam?
Make a table.
What would we do if we made a table, Sam? Why do you think that that might be helpful?
We could put them you can put like 4 and then like the 6 below it and then be able to figure it out
Well, you could find the slope.
Oh, so I think you're trying to do the same thing, right? You're thinking about the table format to find the slope. Okay, but there are lots of ways we could find the slope. We can find the slope between these 2 points by plotting these 2 points and counting rise over run, putting them in a table and doing a change in y and change in x, and using our formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Are any of those wrong? So does it matter which one you pick? In some way, shape, or form, we need to find the slope. Because let's be real, all 3 of the options that we have include slope. We need to know a slope to be able to make a decision. So let's find slope. Okay, so I'm going to go the option up here of just plugging into the formula, but that doesn't mean it's the best option or the right option. It's just an option. We're going to do some different options today as we go. So we have a first point and we have a second point. Right, remember when I told you that slope was really important and it just doesn't go away? Okay, here it is again. So if you're a formula person, right, this is the formula. If you're not a formula person and you're just doing a y minus a y, right, we'll do 14 minus 8 over 6 minus 4. Okay, what is 14 minus 8? 6. And what is 6 minus 4? 2. And what does this reduce to? So what does our slope equal? Okay, great. I found the slope. How is that going to help me?
Now you can do point slope form.
Now do I have a slope and a point? Yeah, in fact, I'm really lucky because I have a slope and I have 2 points. And I just need one of them. Okay, yeah. Which one of these points do we want to pick? Does it matter which one we pick? There is not a right answer. So maybe you pick a point because it has smaller numbers. Maybe you pick a point because it has your favorite number. Maybe you want to avoid negatives. It's just construction. We just have to go with one of the points, okay? So it sounds like the majority of us are going here. Now do we fit into a category?
Yes.
Choice 3. So now we can plug into point slope form. Okay, so we're going to say y minus, what's our y sub 1 up here? 8 equals, what are we going to replace m with? 3 times x minus 4. Is that our answer?
No,
Why not?
because we have to reduce it to. Yeah, wait.
No, we need to
to
distribute the 3
Why?
because you can't. Because
you do.
that's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, can't, right? The why answer can never be because that's what Mrs. McKinney said. Why?
You have to get it to slope.
Why?
Because if you want to
Because
get
y needs to be alone.
I gave you a reason. Why does y need to be alone and why do we need this in slope intercept form?
y needs to be alone because that's
Because that's what
That's the
you're
rule.
trying to find.
No, we're trying to write an equation of a line. Is this the equation of a line?
no, but to write.
Is it an equation? Will it make a line? This is the equation of a line.
Okay, so then we just plot it.
So why do I need to solve this for y?
Because you said so.
This is, I don't think you'll be able to use this justification in your job later. My algebra teacher in high school told me to, and so that's why I do this.
I'm just gonna flip
Wait, why do we need to explain? Why do we need that? Yes,
It won't make sense when you, it'll make sense when we get into data analysis even more,
I
but
don't think our job person's gonna do that.
you're gonna see when we get to tomorrow.
it. Our job.
You'll see when we get tomorrow.
Our job person.
Okay? Tomorrow will make more sense. Why?
Because that's
Does anybody want to pick a different point? Did
Yes,
anybody want to
I
pick
do.
6 comma 14? Okay, so let's say Cade decides he wants to pick 6 comma 14. So Cade is now going to write down the equation y minus 6 equals 3 times x minus 14. Does this equation look the same as this equation?
Except the numbers.
The numbers look different, right? So who's right?
Both of them.
Are
You
they?
need to get the y by itself because then you can, reason you know which the point.
Claire, what do you think?
What to distribute the 3x minus 4 and then we subtract.
But what would that do for me? So let's try. Okay, so you're all saying do this. Let's distribute. You're all giving me the same thing. So let's do this math. How do we undo subtracting 8?
Addition.
Okay, what is negative 12 plus 8? Negative 4.
Let's subtract the
Now let's take Cade's equation and let's solve it for y.
So you distribute instead.
I did this wrong over here when I wrote this down. What did I do wrong, guys?
Wait, you forgot to add the 3. Wait.
No, I flipped these, right?
The 6 and the 14.
Sorry, I was apparently not reading that order correctly. So 3x minus 18,
And then you add 14.
and then I'll add the 14.
So you need to get.
And what do we get?
Y equals 3x minus
The exact same equation, right? Both of them give us y equals 3x minus 4. So even though they looked different to start with, they're showing us that they are equivalent. Why do we reduce 4/8 to 1/2?
It's equivalent.
Because it's equivalent, but what's the point of reducing it if it holds the same value?
You use Makes it easier.
Makes it
Okay,
easier.
so
Yeah.
do we agree that if we were talking about 1/2, Evan could write down 1/2, Drew could write down 2/4, Julia could write down 3/6, Alec could write down 4/8, Logan could put down 5/10, right? And we could all have the same answer?
250 bucks.
All of us could have, I mean, there's an infinite amount of possibilities that give us the exact same answer, but they look very, very different. How many points are on a line? Infinite, which means we have an infinite amount of possibilities here, but only one option here. Okay, so when we're solving it for y, we're getting that agreed upon format, so all of the answers, no matter what point we pick, look the same. Because in the real world, when you're doing this, you're not just going to have 2 points to pick from, you'll have like 500 points to pick from. Because we're looking at data, which gives us a lot of information. Okay? How do we feel about that? Kind of, sort of, maybe? Yes, Will?
Why do you not add 8 to 3?
Because this isn't a like term, so when we multiply and divide, that's something that happens all the way through the entire equation to make it equivalent. Addition and subtraction only happens once on each side,
Okay.
and once on each side, I'm just choosing to write it with its like term.
Okay.
Right? It'd be goofy to write it over here because they're not like terms. How do we feel about that statement? So let's look at another one. I want you to write the equation of the line that represents this data. Okay, we want to write the equation of the line that will represent this data. What do we think we want to do? Where do you want to start, Cade?
It's f of x. Up there says the f,
It does say f of x.
which also means y.
It does.
So,
I'll tell you.
yeah, you go ahead, Will.
Okay, so what do you think, Will?
First, you have to find the slope, so you do 11 minus 7 and then 4 minus 4.
So that's a negative 11. So, Kate, it sounds like to me you feel comfortable doing it from the table.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable going here to find the slope.
Yeah.
How many of you say you're fine finding it from the table right there? How many of you say you would do something different? Anybody do anything different? That's not true because I looked at your test. How many of us would like to write this as negative 2 comma 7 and 4 comma negative 11? I know there's several of us doing that, right? It doesn't matter. You just have to find the slope, right? Any of the ways that we can find slope are fine. So we will say negative 11 minus 7 over 4 minus negative 2. Okay, so what is negative 11 minus 7? Negative 18. And what is 4 minus negative 2? 6. So what's our slope equal? M equals negative 3. How many points do we have to pick from on this one? 3 of them, right? Any of them from that table we could pick?
Oh,
Anybody have a preference as to which they want to pick?
first one.
You want to pick the first one?
Yeah.
We could all pick a different one. Right? All of us could be picking different points here. Our math and our work is going to look very different, but as long as we solve for y, our answer in the end will be the same. Okay, so y minus what?
Negative 11.
Negative
1
7.
minus negatives.
We're
Negative
picking
seven.
this
Y
point,
minus 7.
right? So y minus 7 equals
Negative 3.
negative 3.
X
Plus 2.
Okay, so x minus negative 2, but 2 negatives make a positive, right? Because that formula says it's the opposite, so it makes sense that we should be getting a plus there. And then what are we going to do?
Distribute.
Distribute. So negative 3x. Why are we solving this for y?
So that we can come to a common.
Yes, so we are coming to a common agreement on an equation of a line. So they all look the same. We all see that they are equivalent. Okay, so a negative 3x
-6.
minus 6. Then what?
7 by adding 7.
And we'll get y equals negative 3x plus 1. Are we done?
Yes.
I say no. I would not give you full points on this.
Wait, how?
It goes back to the statement that Cade made to start with.
We have to get to a common thingy.
Nope, the comment you made before that. At the very start of this problem. Was the
Oh,
first
f
thing.
of x, f
This
of
has
x.
f of x, so what
f
should
of
our
x
equation
f of
say?
x- f of x equals negative 3x plus 1.
Yeah, I'd get minus. I missed that problem.
Yes, I.
Right, it's that attention to detail, paying attention to what that table is actually giving us.
It's like, isn't it like having like 1/2 and 2/4?
Yeah.
It is, and which one would you get full points for? 1/2?
5,500.
So, when you say we have to reduce, what does reducing do for us?
It gives us all the simplest form of an agreed upon equivalent value.
It just gives the simplest one.
Yeah, well.
It doesn't do anything for us. Just
It gives you an agreed upon representation of a value, right? Questions on this?
Hit it wrong.